Rectangles. My name is Mike, and together we are the sixth color of magic. Today, we are here to talk about some craziness. Did you know that Wizards of the Coast once created a magic set and printed millions and millions of copies of the cards in the set and then destroyed them all and did it all secretly and didn't let anybody know and denied they'd even done it for years? That actually happened. For real. And there's a tiny, tiny, tiny little bit of that set left in the world. Just the tiniest fraction that didn't get destroyed. And it's a really interesting story, guys. And we have to go we got to get in the way back machine to talk about this shit. We're going all the way back to the summer of 1994. Okay, so what we are talking about is known as Summer Magic, guys. It's also known as Edgar, as that was the code name that Wizards of the Coast used for this set. So those are the terms used for the tiny little fraction of these cards that are left in the world now. It's amazing, actually. Basically, in terms of numbers, the minimum current estimate of these cards in existence at all, this is the minimum. There may be more, but there's only 130 commons from the set plus kicking around, about 40 or more uncommons, 30 or more rares from the set, like in total kicking around, and 400 plus lands, with like basically 10 complete sets being there are 10 known complete sets essentially of Summer Magic where people have one of every card from. Basically what happened was back in 1994 Wizards had released revised edition of Magic, and they were facing numerous problems. They had a lot of issues with revised. There were problems with things like having incorrect art. The Serendib art, the Serendib Efreet had or was it Serendib Djinn? It's Serendib something. I just remember the Serendib part. The last part of the name isn't as important, but it is why they screwed up. Basically what happened was a blue card ended up with both a green card's artwork and an actual green border, but it still had the blue casting cost, and that's what happened in Revised. So they had a card like that. The change from Unlimited, which was printed right before Revised, to Revised, Unlimited had very deep saturation in the art. The artwork looked really nice. The color was deep and rich, right? But with Revised, it was really faded and washed out. And I started with Revised. I noticed this. Compared to the people who had Unlimited cards, I thought their cards looked a lot nicer, but I didn't really realize that like how much worse it was. Besides, they had font issues as well, where they forgot to capitalize words, or they were either missing apostrophes or had them in the wrong place. They had artists not being properly attributed, so they would have the wrong names of artists on cards. So they had a whole bunch of problems with the revised cards, including the fact that the outer beveled edge was literally missing. That's the easiest way to tell revised from 4th edition or Unlimited. If you don't know about the art saturation, by the way, guys, just look at the outer edge. Revised is the only set that does not have the outer bevel edging. So you come along with all of these cards, right? First of all, they have no copyright on them. The old revised cards have no copyright. They have these artist issues. The saturation's a problem. Incorrect art. The beveled edges. And on top of that, they were concerned about devil references, occult references, because there were a lot of really upset Christians at the time who were rallying against things that had like basically anything that seemed like it might be devil worshipping. And I actually experienced this in real life, where this girl thought I was a devil worshipper because I played Dungeons and Dragons and Magic. So it was genuinely a real thing, and they had a concern. So what they did with 4th edition was they went ahead and removed pentagrams from artwork, anything with demon in the name. They scrubbed all that out of the game. But 4th edition wasn't actually the first time they tried to do that, guys. Summer Magic, Edgar, was supposed to fix all the problems. What they were planning on doing, this is weird, because they created this set, which is essentially 4th edition, but before 4th edition came along, because it's all the same cards. They removed the demons, they tried to fix all the errors, right? And they were going to make this basically brand new set, but instead of releasing it like they did with 4th edition, they were actually just going to change the revised packs, keep the same revised packaging, and just release these out to the public as if it was still the same revised set and no changes had been made. They had no intention of telling people they were doing this. They just printed the cards and they were going to slide them in. They were going to be distributed in regular revised booster packs, and they wouldn't be in any of the starters. They weren't redoing starters. They were just going to put them in booster packs and let them enter the population that way, instead of branding it as a brand new set, even though it actually was. The way they were doing things with Alpha, Beta, Unlimited, Revised, Summer Magic would have definitely counted as a new set. They had removed cards from the set. They had changed the overall set. So basically, In this case, there may be some differences in regards to what was finalized in 4th, but Edgar was essentially the first 4th edition. But they ran into a whole bunch of problems. And the Serendib, for example, while they did manage to fix the artwork, they still didn't have the proper artist attribution. They didn't fix the artist problem with the plateau. They did not include the proper artist credit. Basically, there was numerous problems with artist credit. There were problems with the saturation level. They ended up going too hard on it, so they ended up with cards that were too dark. So they overcompensated. On top of that, they made other errors, like Hurricane, which was a green card, was now printed as a blue card. And the blue Summer Magic Hurricane, guys, because of how rare they are, they're worth $7,000 to $10,000 US pricing. $7,000 to $10,000 for a blue uncommon because of how insanely rare these are. In fact, the rares from Summer Magic are more common than the commons or uncommons because of the way that they entered into people's collections. What happened was, because of all the mistakes, basically, it's pretty funny to me, because Wizards realized that Revised was basically just buckets of AIDS milk, and they needed to fix it, right? So secretly, they go, and they're like, okay, here's everything we're going to do. We're going to get some nice pure milk. We'll just dump it into the AIDS milk supply, and that will kind of slowly but surely purify it, right? That's what we'll do. But then, when the truck showed up with all the new fresh milk, on the side, all it said was super AIDS milk. And Wizards of the Coast was like, oh God, this is worse. Burn it, destroy it. But before they did that, they said to their employees, if you guys want any of this stuff, go ahead, snag it up, right? So they let the Wizards of the Coast employees go at this stuff. Now, because that happened, unfortunately, a little bit, or fortunately for us, because it makes for great history, a bit of that stuff somehow got mixed into the regular like normal revised stuff, and did not end up getting destroyed. Now, that's only 4 cases, guys. And at that time, 4 cases is roughly 40 booster boxes, okay? And 25% of that, one of those cases actually ended up in one location. They ended up in Troll and Toad. There were basically the projected locations that these may have ended up in. Most likely is the US in Tennessee and Texas, the UK, Ireland, and England, and then Belgium and the Netherlands. These are the most likely places that these 40 booster boxes of Edgar accidentally went to. Now, Troll and Toad knew what they had at some point because they started to Sharpie big green E's on the Edgar packs to keep them separate. These cards are incredibly valuable. I have no idea how many sealed packs of these there are left. I do know that, like I said, there are only 10 sets of this in existence. And trying to complete a set of this is like madness, like Cthulhu level madness, where you're going to go crazy if you try. Like, you're not going to be able to find the cards for it, because in some cases they probably don't even exist, right? Wizards of the Coast employees were able to take these cards, but because they were already Magic players, like, it's like, here guys, here's our newest print run of garbage cards. It's not like these guys know, oh my god, these are going to be super valuable in 20 years, because it's impossible to know. So to them, it's just a print run of shittier versions of cards that they can grab some stuff that they want out of. So what they did was, it's like, let's say you're playing, you just like grab, I need a couple extra blessings for my deck or whatever, right? They just kept the rares and stuff, and the rest just all gone. So basically, because they were more interested in the rares, the commons and uncommons, less of those exist in the wild, guys. So that actually makes the commons and uncommons rarer, which makes the whole set valuation insane, guys. Basic lands. There's about, 400 basic lands known for this, and they're worth at least $300 a piece, just for like a regular force. And these are just whiteboarded cards, too. Summer Magic. It's crazy. I mean, in terms of revised, they look very similar. They will have varying saturation levels because some of the cards will look too dark. The Summer Magic looks like a 4th edition more like. It does have a 1994 copyright. It looks 4th edition because of the more glossy print to it and the beveled edges. But it does have the deeper colors as well. Now, Wizards of the Coast printed this and destroyed it in the summer of 1994, but they denied its existence for years. They refused to acknowledge that it existed, which is pretty hilarious to me. I mean, you couldn't pull that off nowadays, right? I mean, this is like 1994. There's no internet to instantly spread all this information easily into everybody's grasp. I literally started during this time because they destroyed like 100 million or more Magic cards. It actually caused what was known as like a revised drought, where there weren't enough revised packs to go around. I was living during this time and didn't even know what was happening. This is like a secret hidden corner of Magic. I love stuff like this. So Wizards of the Coast literally secretly created, and then secretly destroyed an entire set, guys. That would have been 4th edition, really, and then 4th might have been 5th. So we would have had an entire different set going along. Who knows where we would be? It's very interesting. So they screwed up pretty hard It's pretty hilarious. I thought you guys would find the story interesting. I know I sure did, and most of the people I know probably don't know anything about this. So, that's all I have to say on the subject. Thanks for tuning in. Tonight we are going to do a live stream with a bunch of booster krakens because it has not been a good day for us or a number of other people. So let's try and have some fun tonight, my friends. There's been a lot of nonsense going on and a lot of just bad things going on lately. So let's forget about it for a bit, for a few minutes at least, crack some packs, have some fun, and chuckle at the fact of when Wizards was a tiny little company and just fumbling around figuring out what to do, and their employees had to end up lying and saying things like, oh, it was really hot for a couple months in Belgium and Cardamundi, there was a problem with the cards because of that, or they only have one printing press, guys, or like all these lies. It's so adorable. Anyways, so that harkens to an older time, my time. Thanks for tuning in, my friends. We will see you next time.
Together, we are the sixth color of magic.